Oh, yeah, that's fine.
No, all right. Yeah. Hey. All right. AFL. What do we call this? Armchair updates. AFL Week 8 in review. I think I called it the last week was the hell was it? The fall of the undefeateds, and this week is
Win-
the winless team. No longer Harry, not winless. I don't want to look at my crappy game first overall, but first, Tony, how you doing? Are you well rested? How was your football weekend?
Not well rested, but that's expected. All hours of the day are different and upside down. And due to that, Sam recommended this on the pod.
Oh, is
So
that the
I'm going to
dogfish?
have to drink this, do ode to Sam beating me
Sam.
by 12 points.
Sam was well, not Sam, but Sam's team was a great source of frustration for you on the Discord this weekend. I
Yep.
vaguely remember you saying that if the Vikings beat the Cowboys, that's it for you. That was going to
Yep.
be it. That's how frustrated you were that day. That if the Vikings were able to beat the Cowboys, which they almost did but didn't, uh, that you were done with fantasy football. You were done with football in general. I think all of it. So
But
yeah, not
but to
Sam, but Sam's.
celebrate the Vikings loss, I have an airport whipped cream Smirnoff. So
Oh my god! I've had the whipped cream. Uh, what is it? UV. Had
oh
the
yep.
whipped cream UV. Didn't like it. Yeah, didn't like it. It was good for a minute with like a Coke. It kind of made like a vanilla Coke kind of thing. But yeah, if I'm going vodka, I can't do the flavored vodkas anymore. It brings back too many bad memories of getting like drinking too much of it and getting sick. Like back when I was stupid. Vanilla vodka is one of those things that gets the saliva glands in the back of my mouth going.
It's definitely not my favorite. Honestly, the only reason I had it is I looked in our freezer and it was the only airport bottle shot we had, and it was whipped
Really
cream.
nothing. Now
And go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of feeling sick to my stomach and getting the bad salivary gland, why not use that to segue into my disgusting loss to the winless hairy New Zealand team? I mean, I don't like doing my game first, but you know what? Since I'm talking about making myself sick and feeling lousy, look at this performance. Um, First things first, Manny Sanders coming off of 26 and a half, 13, 20 and a half, 14, puts up a big fat fucking zero. And, it wasn't a monster game for Buffalo, but it was a 30-point game for Josh Allen. He did throw for 2 touchdowns, threw for 250 yards. Sanders had 4 targets, 0 points. So, first disappointment of my lineup, right there. Second disappointment, a Calvin Ridley-less game for the Falcons, and Kyle Pitts gives me 3.3. Might as well be a fucking zero. 2 catches for 13 yards. He did drop a long one, like a 25-yarder. Not that would have, given it to me or anything. Uh, I made the right choice in starting Heineke and not, having any faith that Dak was going to play. I guess I could have started Mark Ingram. You don't know that James Robinson's going to end up hurt. Of course he is. He hurts himself. He gives me 5 points. Just a disappointing game overall. I don't see a lot that I should have done differently. Is there anything that sticks out to you that I mean, I think this is the
Well,
lineup. I think this was the
oh
lineup to
yeah.
go with. But
I'll
yeah, we
lament
got
with
yeah.
you. First, hi to Sam. He did get the podcast link. He said, "Sup, homies." So,
What's up,
cheers to you,
homie?
Sam,
Yeah.
our live listener. I
You
will
already missed
lament with
Tony chugged a bottle of whipped cream
yeah.
Smirnoff. Sorry, Sam, but
You have to watch the first minute or two, but
yeah,
again.
do a
But
little rewind.
in Tom's league, I have James Robinson, and Derrick Henry. So now I have no running backs, it sounds like.
I think Robinson was 1 to 3 weeks, right? But Henry's like 10. He's like basically out for the year.
It's and that team was 6-1. 6-1 going into this week.
So you've got a buffer. Like you have a buffer. This is who do you have? Are you going to have to go waiver wire? Do you have any kind of replacement? Yeah.
Well, I have Carlos Hyde.
Go Adrian Peterson and Mark Ingram.
Well, I have Carlos Hyde too on the bench, and he's supposed to be Robinson's. Whatever. Yeah. Who knows?
There's a significant risk that they just turn that into the Trevor Lawrence. Try to turn it into the Trevor Lawrence show the rest of the year and let him air it out and see what happens without Robinson, not the rest of the year, but without Robinson. Because Carlos Hyde sucks. I mean, he can look good for a carry or so, but I'd probably rather try Mark Ingram out looking at the usage he just got in his new role on his new team. Try out Mark Ingram, maybe try out AP. The guy for the Chiefs, Derek Gore, he just had big usage. Maybe he's going to be. I mean, CEH is probably coming back before in the next couple weeks. So maybe that's not ideal for somebody that just lost Henry.
Why?
But
we always do this. We always do this. This is my 5 minutes. Oh no, I didn't. I'm talking about. Oh, I posted it in the football thing. Sorry, what were you asking?
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, man, I told Squibb I was going to remember next time, and I totally didn't. But he's here anyway, so.
Yeah, no, I posted the football. But this is 6 minutes and 45 seconds in for my weekly sleeper plug. Breaking news on my phone. Always, I swear. Las Vegas Raiders Henry Ruggs involved in serious car accident, according to TMZ. I just report the news. That's all I do is report the news.
Can I have
anything nice? Can you have nice things? I don't think you can.
It's not like I was using Ruggs on a week to week, but like he's
by weeks.
A serious car accident that could damage a nice a young athlete's future. I don't know Henry Ruggs, but I don't want anybody to get hurt. But obviously, I want him to be healthy for my fantasy team, especially if I'm going to be pissed off at Manny Sanders for the rest of the year. And I want to spite sit him for a guy like Henry Ruggs. Now I can't even do that. That Brandon Cooks deal, since Squibb is here, man, you guys, and I doubt that you guys being Squibb and Josh saw Tyson Williams just falling completely flat on his ass or, healthy scratch as much as he did when I traded him for Brandon Cooks. Because Tyrod's getting ready to come back for the Texans. It's going to be Brandon Cooks looking good again. No, I can't have Miles Sanders. I tried many times to get Miles Sanders from Tony. This just proves that even guys that I want get hurt. Like Tony would not trade me Miles Sanders. I tried multiple times, and then he was like, "Let me see one more week. Let me see if he's going to turn it around." Then he gets hurt. But it's like it's even guys that I really am trying to get end up getting hurt.
While we're saying that. Did you see what the effing Eagles did this week without Miles Sanders? Like, let's start handing the ball off 20, 25 times to a running back.
Now to Jordan Howard and Boston Scott. I got Kenneth Gainwell. I have him all over the place. I don't have him in AFL, but I've got him in a lot of places. Yeah, he was good. He's at least a guy to good. So Squibb said, we didn't expect him to vanish. We almost didn't do it because we thought he was a good gap filler in case of injury, which is, I wasn't looking at him necessarily as being a week-to-week guy for me, but I was very sorely lacking any kind of running back depth. And I thought Cooks, while I do like him, I didn't expect him to be as heavily involved as he was, before the Davis Mills thing. And obviously he will be when he comes back, I'm sure. But, that sucks. Now the guy I traded Brissett, I picked up Brissett off the wire with the intention of trading him to a team that needed a quarterback short term, and I got Henry Ruggs for him. And now Ruggs is either Tiger Woods or worse. If TMZ is reporting it, it's probably not good, right? Like TMZ
it's all
has
over.
Anything good
It's
to say
all
about
over
anything.
Twitter. Yeah.
Okay,
man, it's all over Twitter. TMZ has
it. Is he alive? Is he alive? Like, is he?
He was in a wreck. Oh gosh. The pictures don't look good. I'll tell you that much. If you go to, they said no word on if alcohol and drugs played an incident, but the car accident happened at 3:30 in the morning.
Ooh. Maybe he was coming back from a late night run at Jack in the Box.
Yes.
And, oh my God! Oh my God!
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
It does. I'm laughing at the absurdity.
Yes.
Jesus Christ!
You just pulled it up, didn't you? Yeah, go to TMZ, Sam and John. Go to TMZ.
That doesn't like both of the cars look like they were engulfed in flames, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they're both really smashed up.
Yeah,
that sucks, man. That sucks. I don't know that I'm gonna get a lot of Rugsy action.
Well, the funny thing is, who was I trying to get from you for Miles Sanders?
Rugsy.
Henry Ruggs. Yeah, I was trying to get.
Yeah.
I was trying to.
Young guy for me going forward, only 22, 23 or whatever it was. I like him. Yeah. Kablamo.
Yeah.
If this were a real podcast, I would have one of those soundboards and we could do the car crash. What I would prefer is if anybody's familiar, the car crash sound at the beginning of Cactus Jack's music.
Yeah. Attitude Era.
Yeah. The guy's in the ICU. Yeah, I know it sucks. But nothing I say is going to make it any better. And everybody watches this shit anyway. I don't have to pretend like I deeply it sucks. Yes, of course it does. But fuck's sakes, it seems like he's probably. Yeah, both cars are decimated. They look like they were both on fire. Tony says 3:30 in the morning. Nothing good happens at 3:30 in the morning unless you're in a casino. Sam can attest. I mean, bad can happen too, but unless you're in a casino, nothing good happens at 3:30 in the morning.
Facts.
Oh shit.
Anyway, back here. No, there's nothing you can do lineup wise. I mean,
even the Jamar Chase pretty crappy game. Mike Gesicki compared to what he'd been doing. Harry did the 2 tight end thing again to me, and he even had bigger points on the bench. Still beat me. I think this was a week I was going to lose unless I faced my dad or Jeff. Those are the only guys I would have beat. So yeah, Harry caught me at the right time. Not that I am a powerhouse, but he caught me at the right time. DJ
was that
Moore,
DJ Moore's worst week? Yeah, was that his worst week?
He had an 8.8, but Sam Darnold looks so bad. Not that I want to spend more time on my team, but Sam Darnold looks so bad. What do you do as the DJ Moore owner? Like, I was expecting him to maybe fight for the league lead in receptions, not like points or anything, but receptions. And Sam Darnold is a pumpkin. He's always been a pumpkin. For a couple weeks, he looked like he wasn't because of the rushing stuff, but he cannot throw the ball. What do you do if you're the DJ Moore owner? You'd be selling low on him. I'm going to trade him to you. I knew he was going to say that. That's why I said I'd be selling low on him. But you can't not start him, right? Especially my team. I'm not going to not start him. It's just you have to hold your breath and say, hopefully this is a good one.
Especially with the recent Ruggs news too. I mean, there's more wide receiver depth. You don't have,
I don't have the touchdown guy. I don't have the touchdown scoring guys in my receiver core. I have target guys and catch guys, but I don't have the touchdown guys.
And that's when we get to my matchup. I'll highlight that as well because I
lost to Harry. Let's move on to your matchup. Yeah. You're at the bottom of this list. Let's move on to Sam's here. Let's move on to you and Sam. Sam. What do you want to say?
I watched most of the Tampa Bay games was on and all that stuff. Was on Red Zone, and Mike Evans was shut down the whole game. He got free, and he was even well covered on the touchdown pass he got. I mean, I said he was going to get shut down. It was the same thing that happened to DK Metcalf. Yeah. Metcalf got, 5 or 6 receptions and 2 touchdowns. I even said, so you have 6 receptions, under 100 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Yes, they're your 2 best receivers. They're the best receivers on. You could argue Evans is the best receiver on Tampa Bay with Godwin and Brown, but it's one or the other. So, yep, I'm going to get her. Real quick, go over some things, and I'll hold her. So go ahead.
Yeah, so as we've discussed before, Tony was very angry at Sam's team, but Tony's team he put up 123 points, but Tony had some underperformance as well. If Justin Herbert just kind of has a Justin Herbert game, I don't know though. This is 2 weeks. This is 2 weeks in a row where he's been pretty meh. And
I'm gonna kind of write that off to. This week, I'm writing it off to the Patriots always want to take away your best weapon, and Baltimore's defense is good. For those 2 things, that's what Belichick does. Herbert's their best weapon. I'm not too worried about him going forward. He's past his bye week. What?
I wouldn't be worried. Yeah, just kind of. I didn't realize he had 2 so down weeks right in a row. I didn't realize the 11-pointer against Baltimore. I didn't realize it was that bad, but it's still a down week. You got the good week out of Elijah Mitchell. Joe Burrow looks like a superstar.
I hate to say it should have even been a better week out of Elijah Mitchell. Jimmy Garoppolo with 2 rushing. What in the world? He's not Trey Lance, or Justin Fields. He's Jimmy Garoppolo. He's not rushing touchdown.
Jimmy G, yeah.
Yeah.
Another big week out of Debo. He continues, even without touchdowns, to put up monster games. It does seem like he's going to be an elite receiver. How many weeks do you need to see it before you admit, I guess?
He's, to me, similar to like a A.J. Brown, where he's on a run-first team. He is such an elite producer with so little volume. And that's what I see with A.J. Brown, too. It's like the Titans don't pass the ball a lot. It's no secret,
Yeah, but A.J. Brown's just super efficient. His is usually like a 40-yard touchdown.
That's what I'm looking for is Debo's he's efficient with what he gets. He doesn't drop the ball. He gets what he gets. It capitalizes on all his opportunities, And
it looks like Sam's lineup efficiency was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Gronk, obviously, you're not expecting a 0. But
well, Gronk was supposed to play, and then he was ruled out in the first quarter or second quarter.
So if Sam gets Uzama in there, he's got 7 more points. So he even on an off week for Sam, he should have put up about 140, 140 plus. In a week where he plays a non-quarterback in his superflex, he gets 21 points out of Cole Beasley, which I played Beasley in some leagues too, because the no Dawson Knox thing, you could see Beasley having a big game, and he did. It was all, again, like Debo, it was all catches and yards, no touchdown.
Yep. But
then he had the other guys that he get the touchdown from. He got a receiving and a rushing from Hendo. You got the Mike Evans. You got the 2 from Metcalf. Even as bad as Carson Wentz looked, I watched a good chunk of that game. He looked pretty big. He still puts up 18 points. He throws two picks, one to blow the game completely. Still puts up 18.
I think something, and this just popped in my head. What we're doing with Sam here is we're looking at it as each individual part. How does this part do? How does this part do? And you kind of nailed it on the head. You had Beasley and Debo do their catches and yards, and you have Metcalf and Evans get the touchdowns. So he has the balance there where we're breaking it down line item by line item.
2 for Henderson. But he does.
Yeah, 2 for Henderson.
He can absorb a quarterback on a bye or not, not playing a quarterback on the superflex. He can absorb his quarterback that he does play throwing 2 interceptions. I still don't think Carson Wentz is very good, but it's
he's
I would look like an idiot the more I say that because he keeps putting up points. He keeps look at him and then look at Aaron Rodgers. Who would you have rather had this year? I'd probably rather have fucking Wentz for as early as I took Rodgers. I rather would have sat on it and waited on Wentz. I'm an idiot.
And I mean, you look, Sam's doing this without, you could say easily 2 top 5 players in their position. Lamar Jackson's a top 5.
That's what terrifies me.
Lamar Jackson's a top 5 quarterback, and McCaffrey's a top 5 running back.
And David Montgomery. Don't forget about David Montgomery as a Bears fan, especially. He is very good.
He's not
very good. He's a top 10.
He's not top 5, but I mean, he's good. Yeah.
Coming into the year, he was probably getting drafted as a top 10, top 12 running back.
For sure.
With good, and he finished that way last year. So
both MCM and Lamar Jackson are top 5 at their position, no doubt. There's no question. You're win healthy, not right now, but win healthy.
Yeah.
Both those guys. So I mean, it's scary to see.
Good. Yeah, it's scary. This is the week you thought maybe you wanted to face Sam, and it still is not. He scored
and I had two quarterbacks. He had one, and it wasn't even his best quarterback.
Hey, I lost to the winless team that starts 2 tight ends.
Yeah,
shit happens, man. Football's wacky. I mean, it's all wacky. Fantasy sports, it's not. People say it's down to scheduling, and I hear the football is all luck and stuff. But man, it's like we did a lot of baseball podcasts too. I feel like I was saying the same things about the White Sox and the Tigers facing each other, or the Cubs and the Pirates. Like when the Cubs would beat the Pirates, it seemed inexplicable. But Frank had Duke's number during the regular season. It's not just football that's hinges on these kind of weird things that look lucky. It all does, man. It evens out. You hope that it evens out, but that's why we play Dynasty, I guess. We're hoping. Yeah, Squib says he has long-term concerns about CMC due to history, and they have said that they want to dial back his load, like as a thing, not just this year, but like as a thing. So he's not retired by the time he's 29.
I think I even
wonder. Would you take? Oh, go ahead.
No, you do yours. Mine will follow.
I was just gonna say, would you still take if we were starting up this dynasty next year, or say we do another startup? Is CMC still number 1? Squib, is CMC number 1 for you? If you are in a dynasty startup next year and you have 1-1, say a standard, not super flex, standard.
You're leading into what my point was. I think if I remember right, I said preseason CMC was my big injury prediction. Just because the workload. I think Derrick Henry was the same thing. Like those guys had way too many touches to not be worried about it. And I think we're going to see, like in baseball, we're seeing more of the lefty-righty split stuff, where guys aren't playing the whole time. I think we're going to see more workload management, running back by committee, yada, 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 in these backfields. The running back position is going to be watered down, I think, as if it isn't already. Now, to answer your question.
Henry, that got as many carries, he was rare. Like McCaffrey's a lot of catches. He gets carries, but he just gets touches. Henry is really the only guy that carries as much as he does and has over the last few years. And he looked invincible. He really looked like the guy's just a bulldozer. And no, 1.1, Squib, 1.1 in a standard dynasty. Who are you taking 1-1? Not number 1 RB, but 1-1. Because I think coming into this year, the consensus was still McCaffrey. Maybe some guys took Jonathan Taylor. Maybe, is Jamar Chase 1-1 in dynasty next year? Dalvin, sure.
He was up there.
I just wonder next year, we have the McCaffrey injury again. He's missing all these games again. Henry, there's a chink in the armor because I could have seen saying maybe Henry. You assume he has 3 or 4 really good years left in him. You still take him first in a dynasty.
If you're asking me right now, 1.1 next year, the dynasty startup, Najee Harris. Look what he's done with Big Ben. The usage, and I mean, the quarterback situation can't get any worse. It's
Ben's not good
no matter who. Well, anyways, not much else to say. I think about this with Sam.
Sam's great. He whooped you. Can I play in Tony's new league? I'm sure you can, Sam. There's always a spot for you, man. If it's PPR, and by standard you mean not Superflex. He did. He said Chase. I said Jamar Chase. I don't know if you heard me, but I said Jamar Chase, and that is what Squib said. And yeah, I did. Yeah, standard, not Superflex, and I pretty much only play PPR, so I don't expect you to have known that. But yeah, I was assuming PPR. Yeah, it might be Jamar. He really looks something special, and Joe Burrow looks like a stud. And I think I said it on last week's pod, man. They're going to have a lot of time to just get better and better together in the NFL. Jamar Chase might really be something for the next several years. He might put up, the Randy Moss kind of numbers that we've seen in top fantasy receivers before. Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss kind of numbers. Let's just go up the list then here.
Let's go. Well, I was going to go to Game of Jones since he's watching.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. What a nice guy. Najee also in consideration in both situations, but I want to be called biased. Yeah. Where the hell are they?
They're in the middle.
There they are. So a tough week. I mean, Game of Jones puts up what was a good score this week. Yep. They almost tied you, right? They did. They tied you exactly. You guys put up the exact same number of points, even to the decimal. To the 100th, which I now know for sure because
speaking.
Sam taught me.
Just real quick, and Sam knows this, so I'll say it. I paid up the pizza bet, and what I did was I paid Sam $32,688 because that is the $20 plus every 100th of a point he beat me by. So he got like 12. Sam can confirm this. So,
man, I hope the next time we make a pizza bet, I really kick your ass. I hope I wallop you bad the next time we make a pizza bet.
He was saying that. He was like, man, I wish Ingram didn't catch that touchdown or whatever. So, but anyways.
That's good stuff.
Is that the high score for the week?
It is. The Don's Bulldogs put up the high score this week, and he took over number 1 in our division. So with my loss and his win and him outscoring now, Don, the Bulldogs are number 1 in the West.
Now, it could have been a lot more, and this is just him, maybe personal preference or whatever, but I was shocked he did not start Randall Cobb Thursday night once it was no MVS. No.
Yeah, and I'm kind of shocked he didn't have McKissick in there, honestly.
McKissick looked good too.
Running lately. Yeah,
he's the back.
Some play.
I watched the Red Zone channel, and because all of us do, but he's the back there. I'm gonna pull it up on Sleeper. I want to see what his snap percentage is. But it seems like he's taken over from Gibson. Like he's taken over Gibson's role or whatever you want to say,
No, the one like I don't know that I would have had the sack to do it then, but I could have seen if that it was definitely what the fuck is his first name? White. What was his name? Matt?
Oh, the Jets?
The Jets guy? Yeah.
I think it's Matt.
Mike White.
Yeah. Mike White.
If you looked at what he pretty much only threw to the running backs when he came in the week before, and he did it again. He 9 receptions to Michael Carter. Like maybe you make that play. I probably still would have liked Damian Harris. You're not going to start him over Najee or Joe Mixon, and those guys both gave you a great game. Like, this is a very down week for Game of Jones. 10 combined points, 11, 10.5 from McLaurin and Justin Jefferson. That's a very down week, and we know what the deal with Kyler was. He hurt me in I have a lot of Kyler. And this was a pretty good week for the Dogs. He made the right decision. He actually sat Matt Ryan. He sat a quarterback to put Javonte Williams in the Superflex, which is a really interesting move for Don. I got to say, I'm pretty much always starting a quarterback there. I know Carolina was a good defense, and he did make the right call. I don't know if it was because of Calvin Ridley, or did Don do that well before because he just didn't like the matchup, but it ended up being the right call. And he actually could have, if he would have played any running back, pretty much anybody other than Javonte Williams, he actually scores more points. So, I mean, this is just a week to not face Don, really. I mean, but especially if you're Game of Jones, they did have a very off week.
Could it be argued? I know we talk a lot about Sam and his drafting of running backs and being very deep there. I mean, you had McCaffrey, Montgomery, Fournette. I forget, I mean, the list goes on.
Anderson, yeah.
You could argue Don might have matched him, if not better. Look at Don's running backs now. She has Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Darrell Williams, Javonte Williams.
Darrell Williams isn't very good. I mean, it's situational, sure, but yeah. For like a couple of weeks for Darrell Williams, he was a handcuff, and McKissick was you can't, now they look better.
Yeah,
they look as good. Coming into the year, it was Sam's looked better, but right now, I mean, you look at the bench points he's racking up. He had 117 points on his bench.
I guess for me, it's the Javonte Williams thing. He's going to be the guy in Denver. So eventually, I mean, he looks, yeah.
Teams that have him right now are kind of waiting for it, but I think he will be. And Melvin Gordon did fumble for the first time in like 220 carries or something like that. Not that that's going to probably cost him carries, but I think you're right. It's going to be the Javonte Williams backfield. And I say this because I guess I always say this about teams that are better than me. The only thing I see as a pitfall for Don coming up is there's rumors about Jalen Hurts not even keeping the job. And this was the first week that he didn't score 20 points, and still Don outscored the league. This was the first non-20-point week. Look at here for Jalen Hurts, and it was pretty bad. Only 11, and he still put up 150 points. This is a really good week for Don. I mean, the giant Tyler Lockett game, another one of those guys that was all catches and all yards. The touchdowns went to DK Metcalf, as you know. A pretty good game out of Dallas Goedert. I think Hurts only threw the ball like 14 times or whatever, and 6 or 7 of them were to Dallas Goedert. So, I mean, I guess if you're Don, you're encouraged by that going forward. Darrell Williams.
Well, and then
all of his production.
It's his second quarterback as well, with the Matt Ryan issue. Like him having Matt Ryan as his only other quarterback.
Yeah, and then he threw some darts at scrubs, Trubisky and Haskins, that are not going to land.
Good hit.
This was the week that you didn't want to play Don. Yeah, he has some, and like you said, you say it a lot. An injury here, and boom, he's all of a sudden. Or if Jalen Hurts sits, come see me about Gardner Minshew. That's all I can say about that. Great week from Don. Disappointing week from Game of Jones.
I say better days ahead for both these two teams, and this could be a potential first-round playoff matchup. Because I think
did we both predict Game of Jones losing? Do you remember?
I don't know what. Someone can fact check us that. I know it was one of the closest matchups, projections wise.
Tony is a scholar and a gentleman. I don't disagree. That's Sam, by the way, calling you a scholar and a gentleman. Let's move on to Memphis Mark getting a much needed W over Dalvin Cook, who will be my opponent coming up. Dwight did not get Darius. Was Darius Slayton out of the game? Was it known?
No, he was active. He was active.
He just did not do anything.
Yep.
Yeah, zeros all across the board, like Manny Sanders. You got a really great Zach Ertz game. You again, like I just said, if you're done, you got to be encouraged by Goddard's usage. Well, if you're Dwight, you should be encouraged by Zach Ertz usage in that game. Now, I don't know if that's because Kyler went down, and who's the backup in Arizona? I don't even know. Did he just feed Zach Ertz? I don't really know how that game went.
Are you talking about Arizona?
Yeah, for
Tight
Ertz,
end?
like after it was a lot of Ertz's action. Yeah,
No, he's the starter.
Wait, is this this is weird. Why does it have for
What do you mean?
Ertz? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? It has like 6.77 and 70.7. Like it's like it has predictions for Ertz, but it doesn't do that for anybody else.
No, I have Ertz at 4 for 42.
No, I mean like
I see on your
look on
screen.
my-
I do see that.
Yeah,
I see
what I'm
that.
sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell is that? It seems
I have no
really
idea.
weird. Because he didn't score 15.26. He scored
No.
8.2.
8 points.
So for some
4
reason, they're giving me
yeah.
Zach Ertz's like a prediction next week instead of what he actually did, but for nobody else. Thank you, Fantrax. You
Sleeper next year.
I hate Fantrax so much. These teams were pretty evenly matched coming in. I don't remember what we said. I feel like I remember saying sorry, Mark. I'm predicting.
Yeah,
Dalvin.
we both predicted Mark. It wasn't because we thought Mark was the better team. It was because we knew Mark's luck all year long. I think that's kind of how we worded it. Was I think we both thought Mark was better, but Mark has had such awful luck.
Well, to be fair to Mark,
him.
he got another stinker out of Patrick Mahomes, 14 points. That might be his worst game of the season. No, 7.74 the week before was actually his worst. So he's had his 2 worst games of the season, but he pulled a win out of this one. He got the monster out of A.J. Brown, 10 for 155 and a touchdown. Big game out of Austin Eckler. Pretty
What do you do
underwhelming out of Zeke and Eckler.
No, Mahomes.
Oh man, what can you do? You know, you're not going to sell low on Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to sell low on who coming in was the consensus number 1 quarterback in a super flex. I think you just got to ride it out and hope that the Chiefs. I don't know, man. As a Chiefs fan, it's befuddling at this point how bad they consistently look. I was doing the meeting a lot. I was pretty much in the meeting for all of Monday Night Football, just about. And when Kyler did play the whole game. Okay, yeah, I know he was hurt and got banged up, but yeah, he likes Hurts. When I checked the score afterwards and saw that it was only 20-17 Chiefs, I said, "What the fuck happened?" And then I kind of went back and looked at some of it, and man, they just don't look like a team that people were predicting to maybe, if not go back to the Super Bowl, at least make a deep playoff run. They do not
they
look
make
good.
the playoff?
Man, I don't know. They look really bad. They look bad on, you know, I know Squibb and I have talked about on Discord about how Mahomes, you know, the overall numbers, maybe now they probably look a lot worse, but you know, he was still kind of, you know, the yards and the touchdowns. Yeah, maybe he was just throwing more interceptions. He's pressing too much. He's trying to do too much. And some of this shit that he would try to do before just isn't working. Some of the no-look stuff, the weird shovel, you know, that stuff isn't looking. And the chucking it downfield, you know, Tyreek had 18 targets last night and 12 catches. Where was Travis Kelce? I know he's a little banged up, but where the hell was he? 4 catches, you know, for 42. It feels like we're saying this about Kelce quite often, that he's having down weeks. I don't know, is he more banged up than we're letting on, but he's playing through it. And then when he finally takes a break, he's going to miss several weeks. This isn't a team that can absorb that. It doesn't seem like, even as a decoy, you know, I don't know, man. It's worrisome.
Is his age finally catching up to him too?
Is that Kelsey?
Yeah.
I don't think so. He's admitted that he's banged up. It doesn't seem like he's like lost a step or anything. His routes are fine and stuff. I do think he's maybe more banged up than he's letting on if he's still out there playing. I don't know snap share or anything, but I don't think Darrell Williams is very good. I don't know if the Chiefs think CEH is very good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
it just kind of it doesn't look great.
Didn't they sign Josh Gordon off the street too?
Yeah, to apparently just stand there and look awesome because they're not throwing him the ball or anything, and he looks great. Josh Gordon has always looked great. He's always been like a shredded dude. Like he's always been a specimen. But why aren't you throwing him the ball? It's not his first week in the offense anymore. You can't use that excuse. We got to ease him in. What the hell are you doing? But that's besides the point. Mark got what he needed to beat Dwight. Kenneth Gainwell, we've talked about how much of a scrub he looked like. The Dallas defense is pretty good, but you have to be disappointed with 7.8 out of Dalvin Cook. He got a great game out of Keenan Allen, despite Herbert not having a great game. Keenan Allen had a damn good game. An acceptable game out of Daniel Jones. A good game out of Adam Thielen. But then the whole rest of his team, after that, it's just there's a big gap there of nothingness that Mark was able to fill in with a really good Tyler Boyd, a really good AJ Brown, and he did enough to win. I mean, shit, Mark scored the second most points this week, and really didn't have a great game. So got to be pretty happy if you're Mark to get out of this with a win.
Oh, and does he have Ridley on the bench? It looks like
he does. Yeah, so I mean, it's not just me that's like, I can't catch a break. Mark, both for the AVL Cleveland team and now the AFL Memphis team.
Whew, that was he ran into injuries the first month of the year. It was not good. And he's doing look at his running backs. He's doing the Dallas. He's just saying, screw it, I'm gonna play the Dallas.
He's playing them both. He's saying, give me all of Dallas's rushing stuff, and maybe that'll. And this week it definitely worked because he got. He did play Eckler in the flex. It could have easily been Zeke and Eckler and Pollard in the flex, and then maybe it doesn't stand out as much. But yeah, I don't hate that. If it's a team that you think is going to run the ball quite a bit and have a good matchup, play them both. Get what you get out of them.
Mark mentioned, and I'll take this time to announce on the pod. I believe we pinned it. He wanted to know the playoff scenario, and I think we finally have that pinned. I think you pinned it or Jeff did.
Yeah.
He asked about how playoff teams are decided, because he was seriously considering. I think by the sounds of it, if he would have lost this week, he was considering selling.
Yeah, which I can see. I mean,
he's got a lot of good pieces.
Yeah, I think with this win though, I don't think there's anybody except for maybe Harry that's out of it. And I mean, conceivably, I guess there's probably a mathematical way that Harry's not now that he picked up one win. Maybe he is. I don't know, but yeah, I think Mark is still very much alive if he goes on a run here the second half of the season, especially picking up the here. Yeah,
I don't think there's much else.
Nah, I mean it's
cover.
It is.
We won't pick against Mark anyway.
Like I look at Dalvin as the team I got to face this week, and I'm worried about what if these guys right here don't all suck at the same time. He's not.
We can't pick against Mark anymore just because he's Mark and he's lost bad luck.
Clearly, that was enough to rub it the other way. You got Cal and Vin.
That's who I play next. Ooh. An argument could be said. This is the second top team or was top team in Vince's team at the right time. Because Vince has Derrick Henry.
There he is.
DeAndre, and I looked ahead to this. This is how I'm going to break this down. Sam Darnold is iffy, or if he plays, he's not great. Derrick Henry's out. Okay. DeAndre Swift, his bye week is next week.
Oh man,
he doesn't.
What a perfect.
So he loses Swift and Henry at the same time.
What a great time to catch Vince. Oh man.
Let's see if I can capitalize on it. Because he has no Russell Wilson. Wilson's going to be out again too. Fields looked good.
He did. With the Matt Nagy-less Bears, Fields finally looked good. Yeah. But Cal, I mean, he just made some good calls this week. Putting Boston Scott in the super flex, and he's the one that goes off instead of
yeah. That's something that every reporter I thought said Gainwell was the guy, and
I bought into Gainwell. His usage had looked good in weeks past. Even when they were starting to lean on Sanders more and more, Gainwell was still at least he was involved in the passing game. Cal loses T.Y. Hilton again. Didn't really matter. A pretty crappy game out of Nick Chubb.
This was set up to be big for them.
Yeah, I mean, man, this really nice week. 12 catches out of Tyreek for only 95 yards, which is strange, but he did get the touchdown, 18 targets. Big game out of Amari Cooper.
And Sam gives me props looking at Vince. It was the Chris Godwin game. I did say that. I said Godwin was going to be the, but.
8 for 140 and a touchdown. It certainly was. Mike Williams, a stinker. I kind of thought, I thought this was maybe going to be a Mike Williams game, but it was Keenan Allen game and an Eckler game, not a Mike Williams game. Noah Fant, garbage, 2 catches for 8 yards. Devontae Smith, how did the Eagles score 44 points and Devontae Smith has 1 catch? You would think that that's impossible. You would bet the house that couldn't happen, right? I mean, but it did. So this was a week to play Vince. Next week's a week to play Vince. And I know we said it about him before. An injury or two. Well, he's lost Russell and now he's lost Henry. And now Vince does not look so intimidating. If you just look at that team. Yeah, he's been scored 71 points.
You can rewind 3 weeks ago we thought he was going to run away with this thing.
Well,
how quickly
football changes quick, man. Injuries can really they can really stick it to you. So and that's the story of this. No Russell Wilson, losing Derrick Henry. The one off game DeAndre Swift has had all year. He had 8.9 against Chicago, but he's been an absolute stud for most of the season. Probably a first running back here.
Sam Darnold turning back into himself.
Yeah, Darnold sucks. He was writing early. Damn it, that's Henry again. He was writing some early Henry goodness. Look at the rushing touchdown games. There they are. 2, 1. That was all of Darnold's production. He stops doing that, and look, 6, 13, 2, 11 and a half, 12, 11 and 3/4. Similar to who did we just look at that was running on Daniel Jones early in the year? Is Dalvin. When Daniel Jones was getting the rushing stuff, here he was running the ball, gets hurt, no longer running the ball, it settles into kind of what he is, 16 points a game when he's not running, and he had 28 yards rushing there. But these guys that maybe aren't cut out to be running quarterbacks. Once they stop running, they go back to being pumpkins. So yeah, great game by Cal. Kind of made all the right calls, really.
You got Tua back.
Could have had Devontae Parker in there. Maybe could have had Kadarius Toney in there over T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton's always a huge injury risk. It might be time to just cut bait on him. He might be a guy that's just he's made out of glass, man. You just can't rely on him ever.
Who's more cuttable, T.Y. Hilton or Allen Robinson?
T.Y. Hilton. I'm never cutting Robinson. I'm never cutting him.
Even in a redraft?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I have him in leagues that I would. So here's sidebar. A good question on you. Who's more cuttable? Now, don't look at the week they just had. Don't look at the week Tyler Boyd just had. But coming into this week, who would you cut first, Tyler Boyd or Allen Robinson? My answer is Boyd because I still believe in the talent of Robinson. Not that I don't think Boyd's not talented, but just situation. T. Higgins got 12 targets a couple weeks ago, 14 targets a couple weeks ago. Jamar Chase. And it seems like Boyd's maybe the odd man out there. You just got to believe in Robinson. But, man, maybe it is Robinson now, right? Maybe Robinson is cuttable.
I was going to say I have Allen Robinson in a 10 team, and we only start 2 wide receivers, but we have 2 flexes, but still only 2 wide receivers.
10 team.
And I was thinking in my head, if Boyd was out there, I might cut Allen Robinson for Tyler Boyd.
For Boyd.
just because the quarterback. Fields isn't going to do what Joe Burrow is going to do.
Oh, Burrow's a stud, man. He looks like a stud. He looks great every week. Yeah, I think maybe if that's the question, if it's Robinson or Boyd, man, Robinson would have to get at least a lot of heavy thought there. I mean, I hate to do it, but every once in a while, Boyd can come out and have a 20-pointer, and then he's still got a floor of 8 to 10, right? So
yeah,
Robinson doesn't, not anymore.
And it's not that you'd say Chicago has a lack of weapons.
No, but man, they get Montgomery back. If Tariq Cohen ever comes back, it's just it seems like that's even less that they're going to look at Allen Robinson. I know he said hey man, we didn't get a chance to gel me and Fields. We didn't have any reps in training camp. It's only an excuse for so long. Kind of like I said with the Chiefs not using Josh Gordon. You can't say, well, it's his first week. Yeah, okay, so Squibs, redraft Boyd over Robinson, dynasty Robinson over Boyd. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think in a dynasty or whatever, you can't cut Robinson. But in say your league in a 10-teamer, I mean, there's probably guys that I might cut both of them for. If Kadarius Toney for some reason is still out there, even though he didn't look great last night, if he was healthy, I'd probably take him over both Boyd and Robinson right now. If Sterling Shepard was healthy and on the wire somewhere, I'd take him over both if he was healthy, over both Boyd and Robinson.
Well, here you go.
If Will Fuller is out there and getting ready to come off the IR, I'd probably pick up Will Fuller and cut Robinson. I don't know if I would cut Boyd. This is redraft, of course, but Will Fuller might be a good second.
None of those guys you mentioned are in this league out there.
Okay.
The best option you could say is Juju. Juju's out for the year, right?
Yeah.
Raygor?
I'd rather have Boyd or Robinson.
What about this one? Curtis Samuel.
Man, but he's hurt all the time too. I mean,
he is.
You're pretty much.
But if he comes back,
6-1,
that's a good offense.
If he comes back and he's healthy, I'd probably put him a notch higher than Boyd, just with the way that the Bengals offense has used Boyd this year. But Samuel's never healthy, man. He comes back, he gets hurt. He's like T.Y. Hill. He comes back, he gets hurt. He comes back, he gets hurt. He's never healthy.
Here's one. I just popped this up, and this is just to keep recency bias. Allen Robinson or Bryan Edwards for the Raiders?
Robinson. For me, I mean,
even with
now knowing the Ruggs is dead, maybe. I mean, shit. To me, that bumps Hunter Renfrow up and Darren Waller way up. I mean, you gotta love your Darren Waller shares now. I mean, it sounds very callous and stupid to put it in that context, but like I said, Henry Ruggs is not a personal friend of mine. He doesn't give a shit what I say about him. It's not like I hope he's hurt. I'm just saying he is hurt. If you're a Darren Waller owner, you probably. I mean, you don't like that he's hurt, but you got to like the more targets that are coming to a guy that's already maybe the number 2 tight end, especially in Dynasty. I don't know. I have no idea what's wrong with Rux, but just looking at those fucking cars, it didn't look good. Huh?
I know we were shooting for about an hour. If I say we could knock out, I was going to say, we did? Who?
We got Garoppolo and Moonman.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, we didn't actually.
I was going to
because
say,
they're so underwhelming teams.
If you didn't mind, we do about 15, 20 minutes more and do the week 8 preview real quick, or week 9? Or do you have any plays need to be? Okay.
No, I'm good. Let me give some full disclosure on this matchup here real quick.
That's fine.
My dad and I have I don't know. We had a deal in place for Diggs. I was giving him number 1, my first rounder in next year's draft, and some kind of receiver. It wasn't going to be Ruggs. I don't think it was going to be Sanders. It was maybe going to be Sammy Watkins or some scrub like that, a replacement receiver for Diggs. Now, that would not have helped me. But he's like, man, I might have a chance at beating Jeff this week. I might have a chance. Let me, do you mind waiting another week and seeing if I can beat Jeff? I'm going to play Diggs. And I said, honestly, I'm going up against Harry. I should probably be fine. I don't think I need Diggs to win. And he needed Diggs to win. He did need Diggs to win. Now, does he have anybody that if he would have played, if he would have been forced to play? No, he doesn't. He didn't have another receiver that he probably would have played Diggs over Khalif Raymond and played somebody else because he keeps playing Byron Pringle. I don't know why, but
we said that every week. Every week.
Yeah, I know. I know. Because he just doesn't have anybody else, but he keeps playing Byron Pringle. So you have to assume that, yeah, Diggs did help him win this matchup. So you're welcome, Father, for letting you keep Diggs this last week, because I greedily, I don't even know what you want to call it, thought that I'm good enough to beat Harry without it. Even taking 2 zeros, my dad takes a 0 out of Russell Gage. What the fuck is Russell Gage doing putting up a 0 with no Calvin Ridley there? And puts up a 0 out of Khalif Raymond, who also was not hurt. He played the game.
No.
And he gets 4 out of Kelsey and 2 out of Pringle. And Jeff, somehow still, you don't manage to beat this guy. I mean, what the hell?
Oh, wow. Did you see that? Did you see the comments real quick?
No, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Arrogantly, I'm.
No, above that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He killed the other person. So fuck Henry Ruggs. Man, fuck Henry Ruggs. I have no sympathy whatever for a drunk motherfucker killing somebody, man. I want him off my fucking team. If you want Henry Ruggs, I'm not usually one of these guys that plays the personality game. I don't want Deshaun Watson because he's an asshole. I want nothing to do with a drunk motherfucker killing an innocent fucking person, man. I want him off my fucking team. If you want Henry Ruggs, come and get him. I'll trade him for nothing. I want nothing to do with the fucking guy. If that turns out to be wrong, whatever. But if that's the case, I want nothing to do with him. I want nothing to do with this guy on my team. Fuck him. Fuck whoever let him leave the fucking joint that night, whatever it was, man. Fuck anybody involved in that shit. I have no sympathy for that guy.
It amazes me. It just amazes me nowadays that a professional athlete can't afford a goddamn Uber.
No, they can. They just don't. It's like
anybody
else that can but doesn't. Yeah. And Squibb is right. You want a guy that's career should be done for. It's Henry fucking Ruggs. If this is true.
If it's true.
Ruggs, at 23 years old, his career should be done for. This guy should be serving time for a long time. If this is true, if that's what he's charged with, and that's true, he should be done.
Yeah.
fine. Deshaun Watson's breathing a sigh of relief. Oh God, he took the fucking heat off me. That's great.
Yeah.
Because Henry Ruggs should be done if this is even, man, just
Remotely,
fuck him. Anyway, yeah, Jeff, how do you not beat my dad with my dad taking 2 zeros and getting a combined 6.9 nice points out of Kelsey and Byron Pringle, the two Chiefs?
Oh.
You know, what does this say about Jeff's team? Is Jeff in a lot of trouble? I mean, he had some double digits on the bench. He had 87 points on the bench. His bench outscored his starting lineup. But did he make obvious mistakes? You know, you're not going to start Davis Mills over Baker. You're not going to start Hyde over Antonio Gibson or Kamara or, Connor, whatever. So it's not necessarily Jeff's fault. Mo Ali Cox had caught a touchdown like 4 straight games or whatever, so you're hoping to not take a fucking zero out of him.
Now, does your
just
dad,
a bad week?
Your dad, right?
No, it's just a bad week. You know, Baker is not 100%, and he runs up 9.5 points. Winston gets hurt. He was looking okay, but he gets hurt.
Nice. Does your dad listen to this?
What's that?
Does your dad listen to this all the time?
Usually he's a couple or few weeks behind, but
okay.
If I tell him to, he probably will.
You should tell him to, and fast forward to the hour mark. I think the best thing he could do right now is trade Adrian Peterson.
You might be right. So Squid makes a good point about Jeff real quick. Jeff is rebuilding. He has 3 first-rounders next year. Yeah, so yeah, it's not – I still feel like he shouldn't have beat my dad's team. My dad is in a worse spot and has fewer draft picks. I mean, I'm kind of looking at Diggs's usage since he had his blow-up year. And I'll give credit to – it was the CBS guy, Heath Cummings, that made me really look at this, because he kind of said the same thing. Diggs has kind of gone back to being like what he was. He's not necessarily the top 3 receiver in the NFL or whatever. He's kind of gone back to what he was with Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
Which is very good. Will have a go off and score 2 or 3 touchdowns in a game, but not this this definitive like first round top 3, top 5 receiver. Like, he's kind of gone back to what he was. And that does kind of give me pause about giving he's probably still a first round receiver, I guess, but looking at next year's draft, I'm not, like I've said, I'm not a huge college guy, but it looks like the first 12 to 15 picks are like linemen and defensive guys. It's not like a super skill position heavy draft.
In my eyes, I think that's where most NFL teams should go. I think the skill position players are way overdrafted. That's just my opinion.
Sure.
But
you know way more college than I do.
Yeah, a little, but it was I'll say this, and this is no excuse for going off like I did in the chat, but it was frustration. It was a horrible football weekend for me. I own Calvin Ridley just as much as I own DJ Chark. Well, number 1 is Iowa. I don't even know what the hell happened there. And you don't follow college football, but
no, I don't.
That was.
But I do because of you. I follow Iowa.
Yeah, that was horrendous. And starting with the Christian Kirk dropping the 50-yard or getting overthrown or however it is, the 50-yard touchdown. And I looked, and that wouldn't have pushed me over the top. But it was just a frustrating weekend.
The Ridley thing, I mean, I think it was me, you, and Squib in the Discord when we said, or you said, somebody said, oh, he's out. And I said, this is not the first time for him, right? With like this mental shit. And Squib's like, no, it's not the first time. Yeah. And then like within an hour after that, it was okay. He's stepping away from football. Like he's not feeling it. He's got something going on. He's stepping away. Like, he's not retiring. He's not out for the year necessarily, but us as fantasy owners, I've got Calvin Ridley on multiple teams. A lot of these leagues that I drafted towards the back end and went 0 RB, it was a lot of like Ridley, Kelsey, a lot of stuff like that where I'm hurting.
Now, did he already knew his other game? Was that the England game?
Yeah, he was out for that England game. That was the Kyle Pitts game.
Yeah, monster. And now, if you try to, play connect the dots, is this the same issue that kept him out of the England game because he didn't want to go over? Because if mental health is his issue, he didn't want to be exposed to the whole England crowd, yada, yada, like it's a bigger spotlight going over for that one game. And this is just spitballing.
Yeah, it seems like this is probably something that's didn't just crop up for him. If he's going all the way to, I'm stepping away for a little bit, and not to. All right, one, not to get too fucking political or weird about it, but one, it's like already there's a stigma against like men saying, "Oh, I need mental health help" or whatever. So, he's already a man. Two, he's a professional athlete, which is, supposed to be tougher than he's making millions of dollars to play a game. You're supposed to be tougher than this. Three, he's a black man, which doubles the.
Yep. Oh, yep.
These guys do not see counselors and shit. They don't go to therapists. Nope. That it's just not a thing. So like for him he's got to be dealing with some shit. To man up. He played under the big lights. He was an Alabama guy. He's been under the spotlights. He was at a spotlight at a young age. So he's like really got to be feeling it. It sucks, man. It sucks. I can't imagine what it's like to seemingly, have everything and feel like I need to be away from it. I've been depressed in my life, but I was like, 22 years old and like, breaking up with my girlfriend and shit and like moving back in with my parents, because I broke up with my girlfriend kind of shit. I thought I had all the reasons in the world to be depressed, but you get over it eventually and you realize, man, I don't have that kind of depression, that this guy, obviously, I don't know if it's depression, but it's a mental thing, clearly, whether it's anxiety or depression or whatever the fuck it is. It's clearly got him bad if he's got to quit the middle of a football season. So, there's the guy that gets my sympathy, not Henry Ruggs, not Deshaun Watson, not fucking Ray Lewis or Pac-Man Jones
Ray
or
Rice.
Tyreek Hill or
Kareem Hunt, Ray Rice.
Any of these guys, Sean Taylor, the guy gets fucking shot. His house is getting robbed. He gets his femoral nicked and he fucking bleeds out. That guy gets my sympathy.
What about
I don't know, man.
Wasn't who was the Cardinals? Was he the linebacker? Whatever that was, the war hero.
Yeah, Pat Tillman. Yeah, I think he was a safety or a linebacker. Yeah, Pat Tillman. Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know if he gets my sympathy. He gets my like respect. I don't sympathize for that because he made a decision I wouldn't have made. I don't have sympathy for him. He's a better man than I am. Like he has all my respect, but like, Ridley and those guys, I have sympathy for those guys. Like I feel it and I don't necessarily get it, but I feel it and I feel bad for him. So that sucks. I got him all over the place. I do have him on a lot of teams. This is waiver night for Yahoo tonight and tomorrow night for RT, where all my other leagues are. It's going to be a busy night trying to replace Calvin Ridley. And it doesn't look like Russell Gage is the answer, right?
No.
He just had 0 fucking points in a game where there was no Ridley. And he played the whole game. So it's not Russell Gage.
I think this makes your Cordero Patterson acquisition look even more. He might line up back at the wide receiver. He's played wide receiver. It's not like it's anything new for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Mike Davis, they're silly with not giving Mike Davis the ball more. He's a hard runner.
Maybe Cordero Patterson.
I went on kind of I ate up all our time on the Calvin Ridley thing.
No, that's fine. I was just saying, I think I can get 10 or 15 minutes if you want to do these real quick.
All right, yeah, if we can rip through them,
yeah. I've got it pulled up. The first one. No.
Right, let's.
I'll just start. I start at the bottom.
All right.
I went because that's just going to be a quick one. I think Game of Jones wins. It's just
probably
we know Harry's Yeah.
But I should have beat Harry
Maybe.
this week.
Now, how bad is the Kyler injury? We don't know.
He's definitely I think he's out, right? Isn't he out?
Kyler?
Yeah, progressing from ankle injury. Yeah, Kyle, I thought he was out. Apparently he's not. I thought
And
he was
it's
like
the
1 to 3 weeks.
He has the Thursday night game, so it is 10 days. That could be enough time. But either way, I don't think they need him. I just think real quick, Game of Jones will rebound from the disappointment of losing this week. I think this is a fair margin, even without Harry not having a wide receiver in there.
I bet Waller's good for more than 12 points next week, especially with no Ruggs.
Yeah.
Only 10 for Mixon. Cleveland's got a tough defense, but yeah, I think I like Game of Jones. Yeah.
Okay, let's go up to the next one. Your dad versus Run CMC.
Yeah, I think Sam's probably got this one. You have to assume if we make the deal that Garoppolo is not going to have Diggs on the team, so that's going to be a big hit to his projected point totals.
Could your dad, if he makes that deal for Diggs, could your dad get under 10 points from Russell Gage, Byron Pringle, and
it's more about like
Travis?
I think he's totally fine with doing it. I think he wants to do it.
Yeah.
And now it's more about like, do I want to do it? The more I look at Diggs, but now I'm losing Ruggs. I probably, I got to do something. I probably will make that deal. I don't know if I love it, but I probably will make the deal. To answer your question, I think, it's possible. We just saw 2 points out of Pringle, 4 points out of Kelsey, and no points out of Gage. I mean, the way it's been going for these guys, there's no reason. I mean, that's Kelsey's second game this year. He's usually good for 20 plus. He's only had 2 games over 20. He's had 2 games under 10. So he's definitely not the Kelsey that you spent up on, no matter the league. If it's a redraft, you had to take him in the late first, early second. Probably about the same for Dynasty. And if it's tight end premium, you probably take him even earlier. You're not getting what you paid for. Any of these Chiefs, Mahomes, Kelsey, Tyreek, you're getting what you paid for. But CEH, you're not getting what you paid for. Sam's got this one.
How many times would you say, I just looked this up, Travis Kelce's been over 100 yards this year?
I just looked at it. I should remember, but I don't. I guess I would say 2, eh?
It's 2, and he had 1 99-yard game, so you could say 3.
So pretty much it's 3, but that's not what you pay for. And the catches are not there either. He's not like getting 8 catches for 80 yards. It's more like, there's 7 for 65, but 4 for 27, 4 for 23. I guess it's 6 and 7. I guess it's the touchdowns, eh? He does have a lot of 6, 7s, 8s up here, but he's not getting the touchdowns.
So I guess we'll just say Sam here.
Yeah, Sam gets it. Sam's got it. Rest your guys, Sam. You can sit the bench, or you can play the bench, I should say. Projections are not liking Cal this week after just having a really big week.
Well, so one thing, and
like
I just looked at this. Cal does not have Derek Carr in there.
Yeah, he'll have Carr in there. He'll probably have Devontae in there. And he'll probably have Kareem Hunt in there. Maybe he'll have Kareem Hunt in there. But, this is going to be tighter than it looked for Jeff.
What about even when does Kittle come back?
He could get Kittle back if Kadarius Toney is healthy. He's got Kadarius Toney in there over T.Y. Hilton for sure. This looks a lot tougher for Jeff on paper than it does
digging deeper. Yeah, digging deeper, and I don't think Jeff has. There's not much on the bench, so this is his lineup.
Yeah, I don't imagine Marquez Callaway gets better with Taysom Hill, but
or is it Taysom Hill?
I think it will be, because he was in concussion still, but if he's okay, I think it will be. And he'll probably be pretty good. He'll probably put up good fantasy numbers. He'll be like a Jalen Hurts, It'll look like, oh man, that's not a great game for Taysom Hill, and then he'll have 23 points.
This one is not as big a news, but the sleeper thing just said it. Phillip Rivers would listen if the Saints called
him. I don't know, man. I think they like Taysom Hill there. I mean, maybe
they probably do, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Shit.
So I think we'll say that
Super Flex Dynasty.
I think Cal wins pretty comfortably.
I think Cal is gonna, once he gets his starters in there and stuff, the projections look a lot different. I think Cal probably takes this. Jeff just had a really poor performance, and even if he rebounds to about expectation, I still think, maybe you bump up Renfro. Other than that, none of these look too out of line from what you could expect. Maybe even knock down Corey Davis a bit.
Now, I moved ahead to the next one with me and Vince.
Well,
he has set his lineup. I understand. Well, look, he doesn't have Henry in there.
Wow, he has. Or at least,
he'll set his lineup.
Got Henry out of there.
Yeah. But I mean, who else is he going to play?
Fantrax has that Henry has been placed on the IR.
Yeah.
Still has him projected for 21 points, almost 22. That's how good Derrick Henry is.
But I mean, I'm looking at there's no one else he's going to play, really, on his bench. This
Vince,
is his line.
Is Vince the kind of guy to make a deal in response to losing Derrick Henry?
He might. If he feels that he's not a mortgage your future type of guy. He's not going to give up firsts and stuff like that.
So he's not going to trade a first for like J.D. McKissick.
No.
I don't think anybody. That's just like I don't know. I can't think of anybody that like Vince could go get for a first that the other person would do for Vince's first. But losing Henry, I mean, nobody replaces Derrick Henry.
No.
Yeah.
He did have Darrington Evans, who might, I don't know if his window started or what it was.
October 29th. Yeah, he's out for the year. It's Adrian Peterson.
Yeah,
so Vince, let's speculate a little bit here. Quick sidetrack. Speculate a little bit. If you're Vince, if you're my dad, right? That's who has Peterson, right? Garoppolo's?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're Vince, what are you willing to give? If you're my dad, what do you want for AP?
Knowing Vince, third rounder at best.
Well, seeing that my dad just gave away Michael Gallup for a third rounder, he'd probably do that for Adrian Peterson. I told him, I'm like, man, I think I don't like that deal for you. I would ask for more for Michael Gallup. Plus, you're getting rid of him right as he's getting ready to come back. Like, if you were going to do this, do it a few weeks ago at least, so the other guys aren't getting the use out of him. But I think, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's, but for the first year player draft, maybe if it was like a redraft and you're drafting next year or whatever, Gallup for a third is okay. But that's probably too much, actually. But I don't like Gallup for a third in this.
The thing to think about is how valuable is AP in a dynasty?
Not very.
Nope.
But for Vince, who's trying to win now,
he is,
and he just lost. He just had a big gaping hole because he's playing a Browns running back who is going to be non-existent once Kareem Hunt gets back, and the Derrick Henry backup that he thought he had is already out for the season. So Vince is that hurts.
Is Ahmed the starting running back in Miami?
I think it's still Gaskin.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess the defense for Vince is, does that move put him over the top? No, it doesn't. Even getting AP, he still has a lot of holes. a lot of
But he
holes.
gets Russell Wilson back, like we know
He
Russell
does.
Wilson's coming back. Derrick Henry's probably done for the fantasy regular season at least. That's a hole that desperately needs filled.
It does.
That's those two RB right there, the projections, and I think that's maybe generous for Sylvan Ahmed. He scored 7 points once this year. They're expecting him to have the best game he's had at 7.87. Yeah, Houston's bad, but that's not something Vince is going to be able to lean on. 8 points out of this guy for the rest of the year? No fucking way. He's got to do something.
I'm gonna check on her real quick, but I'm gonna give you a question for 30 seconds. What would you give for Derrick Henry?
I mean, I'd probably still give multiple firsts for Derrick Henry, unless the injury ends up being like way worse, like career threatening or something. But I'd probably still I'd forego that Diggs deal and give my one next year and my one in 24, at least as a starting point, and then see what. I've never talked to Vince. I don't know how he values things. Is he kind of like you? Does he hate prospects and picks?
No, he'll take prospects and picks.
Yeah, I'd give at least 2 first.
I think he
with
might consider, if he looks at the fact he may not be really competing for the title this year, and he can get something of value for Henry, I think he might trade Henry.
Hey, maybe I should hit him up before I make that Diggs deal. If I can trade 2 firsts and maybe something else or whatever for Henry, I think I might strongly consider that. When you just looking ahead to next year, we already know that the Game of Jones has a first round pick sitting on their IR, right? They're the Cam Akers team.
Yep.
So it's like you already have to be in a dynasty. Thanks, Sam. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
You always got to be thinking ahead, even if it's not, moving my pawn here. It's like, it's looking at these guys. It's looking at that they're going to have Cam Akers. Like, I got to make a move. My running backs are so bad. If it weren't for Cordero Patterson, I'd be in a shitload of trouble. And I don't think that he carries over to next year in this kind of role, getting this kind of action. He is
they're going to draft
this year. And I would strongly consider. I'd get as much information on that injury as I could for Derrick Henry, but that's a move I'd have to strongly consider, and I think Vince would have to consider it too.
I won't speak for him, but I bet you those multiple firsts and something else would be something he'd consider.
Yeah, if he would do 2 firsts and like he would want to roll the dice on Ronald Jones or something, that he's still young enough to eventually turn into something or something like that. I can't help him much. I'm not going to do 2 firsts in Patterson. I can't give my own this year away completely. So
something?
I can't do that.
Vince is a gambler. I know that. Okay. Vince would even consider, I bet, 2 firsts and Ruggs.
Oh, man.
That's a gamble, right?
Yeah, I better hurry up and deal that piece of shit while he still has some value.
Well, I'm just saying, it could be something that, we joke about TMZ all the time. Are they the most reliable source? If they're the only ones, I'm not saying that the accident didn't happen and someone did not. I'm just saying
TMZ are scumbags. TMZ are complete scumbags. Like that, the world would be better if TMZ and their like brethren were not allowed to operate as they are. Like, I'm not saying get rid of company, decide which companies can run and can't run, but they are. These are the guys that killed Princess Diana. Like. I know the driver of that car was drunk and stuff, but there's no way any of that happens if they're not being chased by paparazzi. And the reason that paparazzi go to those lengths is because an outlet like TMZ will pay them so much money. So that's a whole podcast for another time. But
just a quick question on that: is TMZ the National Enquirer and Life of our generation? Is that what those two were called? Yeah. The paper. You know what I mean? The ones at the checkout, you'd always see the.
At the very least, those guys, like National Enquirer, a lot of that shit was just pulling stories out of your ass, you know, and writing about it. TMZ, you know, are shoving camera lenses up the asses of people. Like they are invading privacy. And I'm not a celebrity nut hugger, give these people their privacy, but man, leave them the fuck alone. So they're, you know, the so-and-so's in their sweatpants. They're taking out the garbage. Who fucking cares? The fact that people buy into that garbage is part of the problem. But if those outlets didn't exist, like I said, people like Princess Di would still be alive, you know, and some of these celebrities that have meltdowns end up being such giant assholes to the media and stuff. And yeah, fuck the media, but it's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing that we have a serious. It's not just us though. Korea, South Korea, Japan, they do the same damn thing. They're not as bad as TMZ necessarily, but man, South Korean pop culture is fucking nuts. Those people are slaves. You want to talk about Britney Spears, man? All the South Korean pop stars are fucking, you know, Tom Brady. They've never had a strawberry and they've never had a cheeseburger kind of people, you know. That's besides the point.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, is that what's his face? Robo QB of the '80s. Who was the Raiders guy?
Oh, Todd Marinovich.
Yeah, wasn't he like
Todd Marinovich? He was Todd Marinovich because he got busted for weed. But yeah, he had never had a Big Mac. You know, he had been trained to be a quarterback since he was a kid.
His whole, yep.
And then look what happens. The guy tried weed the first time and he fucking loved it.
Yeah.
He didn't get it out of the way in high school or college or anything, and he just loved weed too much when he was in the pros, and boom, that's it.
Well, it's
I don't know if that's what happened to him, but yeah. What's the next one?
Newly first place Don in our division against Memphis Mark.
The projections really like Mark this week.
Oh my god!
Points.
What?
And he's got two guys on bye. Or two guys not playing, two guys not getting projections for whatever reason. Boy, they really like Mark.
Yeah.
That'd be fine for us if he could take down Don a peg. That'd be fine.
Yeah, I mean, because that would put us in a 3-way tie for first if we both win. Oh, yeah, Don has a lot of assumptions. Yeah, a lot of assumptions. Yeah. I'm just trying to see who Don would play.
In this third receiver spot?
Crowder.
Yeah, I'd stick Crowder in there. Yeah, definitely. Maybe even Rondale Moore.
Yeah.
Not Washington. Maybe Zacchaeus with no Ridley. Maybe Zacchaeus turns into an option, you know, for Matt Ryan. I personally, of course, I hope it's going to be Patterson and Pitts, but it wasn't. But it wasn't Russell Gage, and it wasn't Mike Davis. I mean, they just sucked, you know. They just sucked, but they're not always going to suck.
Zacchaeus played 21 snaps.
That's not very many.
No. With Ridley.
How many did the offense run?
They said it's if you click on Zacchaeus' thing, it says, sorry. Third highest, 21.
Where the hell is he? Oh, 21 snaps. There it was, yeah. Third highest among wide. So they must not have had very many offensive snaps if 21 was the third highest. But they're talking wideouts, so you're talking Gage, Zacchaeus, and, you know, who else?
40%, Alan.
That's not very good.
No, 40% of snaps.
Not what you want. I think the best thing for Don would be that Deshaun Jackson gets traded. But I think today, like right now, is like the trade deadline, right?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah, it's like coming up in the next hour or so if you go on East Coast.
I just saw that was another thing that popped up, and I forgot to mention it in my matchup. Evan Ingram might be traded to the Packers. That'd be a perfect fit.
Wow, yeah, replace Tunyon. Ingram's made of glass himself, but boy, if anybody could benefit from Aaron Rodgers, it's Evan Ingram. Turn that career around.
We already covered mine, so we can go over yours real quick. And
yeah, me and Dwight. I think, and I don't know if I have a whole lot of of difference in my lineup, I probably would end up playing Dak. Yeah, I have no quarterback up there right now. So why do I have – are the Skins on bye? Is that why? Heineke has disappeared from my team?
No, it doesn't even show his first quarterback. Look.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
What the? That's the only matchup.
Fantrax, man. Fucking
Oh my
Fantrax.
god.
If you turn the projections off, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, that's bizarre.
Hey, go to the matchup below. Look. Bulldogs and Memphis. Go to that one.
Jalen Hurts, Matt Stafford.
There's a quarterback.
Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Tua. Us? No, Cordero Patterson, Dalvin Cook.
You guys don't need a quarterback. No reason.
Man, what the fuck? So if Dalvin doesn't really have one anyway. He's got Nick Foles, he's got Andy Dalton, he's got Daniel Jones. I mean, who else does he have? Yeah, what? That's so stupid. See what happens.
Washington does have a bye. Washington does have a bye. And who does he have? Dalvin might have another bye week quarterback.
Yeah, it's Tom Brady. Yeah, so they do. They just don't list them if they have a bye. You just have nobody there. So yeah, he's got Brady on a bye. So that's good for me. I could still have two quarterbacks. Dak, if Dak plays, I still have two. He doesn't.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's good for me. But I mean, geez, knowing the way my team's been going, he'll throw Tyler Higbee in his super flex and he'll score 2 touchdowns, or David Johnson or somebody like that. But yeah, I'll definitely be playing Dak and have 2 quarterbacks. They already like me without that, so this must be a good week to catch Dwight.
I want to see how low you go here, because you said this earlier. Would you trade Henry Ruggs for Cooper Rush?
Yeah. Like I said, if that turns out to be true, if he was drunk,
you don't want to
driving
say now. That's not right now.
Kill somebody. But if that turns out to be true, yeah, I trade him for Cooper Rush.
Just a handcuff to say you have Dak.
Yeah, trade him for a handcuff. Yeah, I'll trade him for a late draft pick, whatever. I want him gone. I got no room for.
Because what did he?
I got no room for that guy.
What did Cooper? What did he put up? I'm trying to pull it up real quick.
Cooper Rush?
Yeah, he put up this week.
Amari Cooper had a great game.
17-2.
CeeDee Lamb went 6 for 112, so he wasn't terrible. I would, of course, have to probably James Robinson. I don't know if I can rely on James Robinson this week. And I don't have. I mean, I probably stick Mark Ingram in there. Thank God I took a couple of old, Latavius Murray, Mark Ingram, a couple of old bastard running backs that could maybe get stuck in there on just such an occasion. They have my bench for 138 points, so I must have some kind of bouncing around I could do. They're also predicting Ruggs for 12.5. So,
how on earth are they predicting Robbie Anderson for 12?
Yeah, right. Yeah. One, I saw that, man, he got annihilated on a hit. Yeah, Anderson was rocked on his lone target. It looked brutal. It was a clean hit, but the way his neck snapped and then hit, it looked bad. It looked like he was in a car crash. But yeah, where's he going to pull 12 points from? I don't know. He hasn't done that since week 1. This was supposed to be a big David Johnson week this last week, and he had arguably his worst game of the year. He's had a couple few 1-pointers now, but yeah, I don't really fear him. I don't fear CEH coming back and being great yet. I think Dak should be okay.
Yeah, so, CEH might be one more week away for him.
I tentatively like myself against Dwight. I like myself against Harry. That was, whatever. But I like myself against Dalvin. I hope I pull it out. I hope Don loses. I hope you lose. Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys all lose, and I hope I win. But I think you're going to win, and I think Mark could win. Don's tough, though.
He is.
And David Jones, they should go 7-2. That division's tough.
I mean, our division could go 4-0 this week.
Yeah, that could easily happen.
With Cal too. Cal getting Jeff.
Yeah, so there you go. Week 8 recap, Week 9 preview. You got any last second action?
No, not really. I mean, I don't want to do a pizza bet this week, so nothing there.
Maybe we'll go
Vince is
viral
not
for our
trash
Henry
talk.
Ruggs reaction. We'll have one of the earliest Henry Ruggs reactions, and we can go viral. And just
can you
make that YouTube.
Can you change the title on YouTube this quick?
Yeah. Change it to plus Henry Ruggs reaction.
Or no, do like Henry Ruggs is the greatest, or something like something that would be not that everybody to hate me. Yeah. No, but then they click on it like, why does this asshole like Henry Ruggs? And then they click on it like, oh, he doesn't. They got me. Like, get it just for the clickbait.
They would have to get to the part. They'd have to get to the part where I hate him. It's pretty deep into the pot. If they just think I love him, and then they're just like, look at this guy with his hat and his sweater, and this other guy with his beer. Fuck these guys, Yeah. So
I was trying to think of ways to get clicks, because that gets you the clicks. Clicks. Saying Henry Ruggs is a POS, just to be locked up for life. Everyone's like, oh, okay, I agree. I don't need to watch that. No, Henry Ruggs is going to be
live Henry Ruggs reaction. Like, oh my God, look, we saw we had the reaction to his car. Yeah. And then learning that he was probably drunk and killed somebody. That was raw. That was live. That was real.
What happens if it is? Because is DUI always alcohol?
It depends on the state, because I know here in Colorado they do have I think it's still under the influence, and it's just marijuana instead of alcohol, but you're still under the influence. But I don't know if the penalties are severe. I don't take my word for any of that.
Oh, no, we're not legal experts. But that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
The DUI could be non-alcohol related.
Sure. I still would probably
that doesn't make it.
Yeah, I probably would not. I mean, it's you put the puzzle pieces that we've been given together of hearing this as many times as we have throughout the years, 3:30 in the morning, pro athlete, blah, blah, blah. Usually these guys aren't, there's a reason that pot smokers have the stereotype that they do. They sit back in their couch, they play video games, they eat junk food. They're not out doing stuff, they're not out at 3:30 in the morning smoking joints and partying at the strip club. That just really doesn't happen. So it's more often than not, it's something like this. It's going to be alcohol or some kind of worse, heavier drug, cocaine or
like cocaine or meth or
something,
opioids.
Again, to go back to the weird political black guys and meth, not such a thing. Not especially pro athletes, meth, not such a thing in the black community, as much as it is.
But maybe cocaine,
white trash. Yeah, but cocaine, definitely not. You don't strike me as a big illicit drug guy, but not the same thing.
No.
Both uppers, but not the same thing. But still, he killed somebody. Fuck Henry Ruggs, probably. If not, I'll do a Henry Ruggs apology tour, and everything will be cool. But Sam, thanks for watching. Squib, whoever the third guy. We had a third guy for a lot of time.
My final thoughts is, Sam, you beat me. I guess I'm done doubting you. I can't doubt you anymore. You beat me,
Yeah, he's Tom Brady. You have handed the torch. You were Tom Brady. Nobody believed in the Marlins. Nobody believed in Run CMC.
He is the Marlin. Yeah. Yes,
it's true.
Now that's spot on for the baseball people.
I do think that coming out of the initial the Marlins, nobody believed in the Marlins because the Marlins didn't look good. Sam's team still looked okay. The Marlins looked not good, and you made a ton of moves, to make them competitive. It's the same in the sense that, okay, now we believe in them because now they've shown us. But in the same sense, I still think the Marlins were still more surprising and more out of nowhere than the Sam football team. But
Yeah, I mean,
that's
what some people would say is the best overall player in McCaffrey. Before the year, McCaffrey was.
yeah, not too often is the team that got 1-1 going to be looked at as some giant underdog coming out of the draft. So people were definitely looking at the Marlins different than they looked at the Sam football team.
Correct.
Yeah, we'll end on that though. Sam, you're great. Thanks for watching. We'll get you next time. Tony, thanks for your time. Me,
No problem.
thanks for my time. I'm hungry. I'm going to get something to eat. And we'll see you guys next time.